Uh, Yo, welcome to Wednesday morning.
I
I'm your
wasn't paying
host.
attention.
I'm your host. Steve used to be co-host, but he missed too many days, so now he's like part-time host.
I haven't missed that many.
And the
Not
hand,
lately.
he's always here. Even if he doesn't say anything, the hand is here. Uh, hey, Steven, good morning. Eric, good morning. JT, Miss Ping, uh, Bill, Flip It Good, White Tree. Uh, there's the hemorrhoid of the internet. Welcome to the show, lag. You just hang around and dangle and carry on. So Phil seems to be having problems with Amazon. Dude, eBay gets all the on YouTube for the most part. eBay gets all the hate and the whatever. There's plenty to go around for Amazon. I'm very disillusioned with Amazon right now. So if I have a negative outlook on Amazon, uh, I've been focusing a lot more of my attention on eBay and moving forward. Um, I like eBay better just because I like the things I like to find and sell on or what sells on eBay. Even though you can still sell used on Amazon and get that, and I do sell Blu-ray players and stuff. Tend to go for a little bit more, so I tend to put them over there. But I've got a plan for that. That I might not be putting those over there anymore.
Mm.
It's a good one.
I bet.
Lag, we need a good sphincter to pinch you off.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Tom, Ron. Good morning. Just saying, early folks. I'm Miss Ellen from Huntsville. Yeah, am I going to Huntsville today? Hopefully. All right. I might be drugged to freaking Costco. Can the Madison Costco not open already? What the hell? So we're there's only four Costco in the state of Alabama, and we're getting the fifth one. So there'll be two in Huntsville. Technically one's in Madison, but close enough.
I'm guessing there's a couple in Ohio, but I have no idea where they're at.
I'll just be glad with it because ours is so busy that it's older. It's an older club too, so it needed to be. So Dale laid off 13. Is that 1,300 or 1,000? You said 1,000. Is that the right number? Damn. I'm telling you right now, folks, we have not seen the end of the layoffs and the economy and where it's going. So I don't know if she's asleep. I haven't heard from her this morning. When I left, the two children were. Well, Franklin was laying on top of her, but other than that, yeah, Thursday. We definitely have to go to Huntsville Thursday. She has doctor's appointment Thursday morning, just to draw blood or something. So we were kind of spoiled. She'd get that done on Thursdays whenever she volunteered, but now that she's not volunteering because she can't walk, we have to make a special trip for that. So, hey James, good morning. Probably for president. So, one of the things I would equate you to the Kamala's pick for vice president, John. Tune in Friday if you want to know my thoughts on all that. Tune in Friday on the other channel. We will do conspiracy and the conspiracy. She was forced to pick that weird dude. God, that dude's weird.
I don't think she was forced. I think she did it despite wanting her to pick Shapiro. But that's my opinion.
Hey Ed, good morning, man. JRKR, good morning.
I didn't think their ticket could go any further left, but there you go.
And so the thing you should never do in reselling, there's a few of them, but the one is, so somebody sent me a link to this dude.
Cha-ching.
eBay doesn't work. I've sold a couple things already. I had a
eBay
really good day. Yes, I had a really good day on eBay yesterday. Yeah, and it's starting off. pretty decent. If folks that tell you that eBay is broken or not working eBay, just because the things of yesterday or what. Have you noticed the most of the people who are the ones complaining are the ones that are paying $39.99 a month or whatever it is?
eBay sucks. Go home.
Yeah. Axe Monkey, good morning, man. So they sent me to a video channel. And there's this guy. He's covered in tattoos, which I guess that's the younger generation. And he's working out of a storage building. He's hustling. And he's talking about, you want information from my team about how to level up your Amazon FBA game from retail arbitrage. And so the first thing he's moving all these heavy drinks. I think they're Starbucks drinks. And he looks like he's got a pallet of them, so it looks like he bought them wholesale. So, nothing against that, but he's also got 3 or 4 packs of the priority boxes, and he's like, me and my team got to get these packed up because UPS is coming to pick this shit up. Never pay for boxes when the post office will give them to you free and you can ship them UPS. Anytime someone tells you to break the rules, break the laws, break anything, unsubscribe, never watch, never listen to that person again. If they will instruct you on how to get around a rule, how to break a rule, or how to do things wrong, and you are seriously considering this as a business and an alternate income, walk away.
Didn't we just talk about a guy who was doing that not that long ago? Same thing.
Oh my God. This guy.
It was a different guy.
He made it a 2 or 3 minute presentation on, saving $2 a box and how stupid you would be if you didn't abuse postal service boxes. And I'm sitting here thinking, how much evidence do they need? Because they can find you. You are readily admitting to abuse of federal postal regulations. The chances are slim they're going to ever do anything to you because UPS will just take your boxes. But why would you ever run that risk? I don't understand. And this I don't know who the guy was.
Clearly not Casey. Casey would not.
No, not Casey. Casey's not covered in tattoos. What the hell?
And Casey's a rule follower, at least nowadays. I don't know if he was in his younger days, but
oh yeah, he got hit.
He don't want to lose his account. Yeah, he don't want to lose his account anymore than Scott or I do.
Yeah. So if I don't know where they sent me the link from. I can't even remember who sent me the link.
You missed dinner Sunday night.
Don't want to spend tons of.
Who was that?
I had dinner with Flippin and Dave.
Cool.
Y'all didn't have dinner in Huntsville? What? And didn't invite me in Huntsville?
You could have come.
You're right.
We had dinner at the steakhouse at Circus. Very interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know how much I'll be doing any of that kind of. Maybe I'll buy some wholesale at some point, but I'm in another redesign. I'm trying to figure out, and I'm just enjoying eBay right now. How many do I have to ship today? It's done. I got 24 to ship today for the last 2 days on eBay. And it's just a matter of, so I've changed. Okay. So I take that back. You can use drafts effectively. So anybody who is listening to me tell you not to use drafts, I'm not telling you to build a bank, but there is an effective way to use drafts. And so I'll tell you how I changed my process. So I've been, I have 2 phones. So this is the older phone. This is the iPhone XS Max. Just any of these older phones you can list on. So for $10 a month, I have it on US Mobile, and so it gets Verizon. So anywhere I'm at, I've got a Verizon and an AT&T phone. So this is the older one, and I forgot to charge it last night. Now I got to take pictures, and so I've been listening to some new stuff. I've been listening to some old stuff, but a lot of things have barcodes. And so how do I, if I take a bunch of pictures, how do I remember which ones to get? So I've been taking a picture, and then with the other phone, I'll just scan or during the picture taking, I will start a draft with the pictures. That way, if I've got 13 drafts, I know I can go sit in the living room and finish 13 drafts, knowing that I got all 13 items. It's just a way for me to keep track of. Because I was noticing I'd take 20 pictures of 20 items, and I get like 17 done. I'm like, how did I miss 3? And so I tried to come up with a way to not miss the 3. And it's worked out pretty good. Take the picture, open a draft, and then go to take. And so, because I've been wanting to take pictures and be able to go on the house since Joni's stuck in the house, or to go inside.
Do you put the listing title on when you start the draft with the picture?
So I generally just do a self-similar, and I'll start from scratch whenever I go to do it. I will just begin it like it's brand new. But I'll whatever self-similar one I use just as a base, I'll just leave that title there until I start listing. And so how does that help me? So tomorrow morning, I told you I got to take Joni to the doctor. So I will make sure that I have 10, 12, 15 items on the phone with pictures and draft, so that while I'm sitting there, I can work on eBay while I'm in the waiting room. When I get to the auction on Monday mornings, I'm usually first. I'm usually 20 minutes early. I usually take that 20 minutes to anything on the phone I've got. I can make listings there. So it really allows me to take advantage of time that normally would be wasted.
You're mowing your lawn, aren't you?
I'm mowing the lawn. Yes,
I can tell. You're all sweaty and stuff.
I know, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know whoever came up with the idea that you should hire somebody to cut your grass.
I wish I could hire somebody. We're not to that point, but maybe next year.
Good life. What's up, man? How are you? Hey, Ryan. It's the one thing I tell you is you got figure out how to make the systems work for you.
What?
I still don't believe in draft banks where I've got. Well, I'm gonna make 10 listings, and I'm gonna wait and list them tomorrow and Friday just to show eBay that I have worked. I don't believe that. I don't believe. Hey, Mark, what's up, man? Have I got a link? No.
I gotta ask Mark a couple questions anyway.
I did not have a link, Mark. There you go.
A link.
But it's folks, there's so much stuff out there. So yesterday I wandered around to the
No, there's not.
store. I picked up a printer, the exact same printer I picked up the day before. I picked up the next day. If you can't find a laser printer to do with your business, are you even trying? I picked up 2 Canon laser printers. Which, tell me how this is. The same thrift store, the same chain. I mean, the exact same. In its box, nearly new, $7. The next day, no box, got a little smudge on the front of it, $10. How do you price the one in the box $3 cheaper than you price the one out of the box?
Same store?
Same store, same everything. Same
They got
shelf.
different people pricing.
The first day was done by the Republican. The second day was done by the Democrat.
I'm guessing they have different people pricing.
But when the second day I had a 25% off because I'm old, so they ended up costing within 50 cents. Baseball can't find anything to sell. There was they had a Cuisinart juicer new in the box, $7, so it ended up being $5. Baseball glove, pair of shoes. I mean, it's just like, do people even are they even trying? How's Illinois, Martin? You doing all right up there?
was hot and humid. Now it's about in the 70s, which is great.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it cooled out here, so generally that means it cools off.
Yeah.
It's not been bad here.
It's
the
been
weather.
humid all summer here.
Yeah. When you get time, I got something new to show you that I'm doing.
All right,
We got time.
where everybody's sitting on the edge of their seats.
Let's go.
Wait, can you do it in public?
My pants are on.
All right, now we got his pants on.
So basically, me and my son have a hobby, and it's
Wait, you got your boy into it too?
it's these.
Drones, yeah, sure.
Okay. So you guys
Right,
have been
no,
talking about
Pennsylvania.
building a business. You know,
Mhm.
how do you go about it? And I said, I'm going to put this together. I'm going to show Scott and these guys if I'm doing it right and get some feedback. But this is one of my newest drones. This is the Mavic 3 Pro. It's got 3 cameras, 1x, 3x, 7x zoom.
So did you get a pilot's license and are now going to go take real estate pictures?
Yeah, I'm a FAA Part 107 certified. My
Mhm.
son's finishing up his. I'm already a remote pilot. But if you share, can I share a screen? Can I, real quick?
eBay doesn't work, y'all. Ignore my phone. Those are fake sales.
How do I share? I'll show you something real quick, and
You
then
go
we'll
down
talk.
to the bottom and hit present and share screen, and then whenever it
Aha.
comes up, I will wave my magic wand and deem you.
Hold on.
Shareable.
It won't take long. But then, just how I'm putting it together. Oh, that didn't come out right.
Okay, so that was an offer. Somebody made me an offer on an item that I thought they were too low. Didn't get mad. I didn't get angry. I just met them halfway and like, you know what?
You're
This is
doing it
what I
wrong.
paid for it. And it sold. What the hell?
You're doing it wrong.
Hell.
What the hell? I mean, if they want to pay $18 for some shampoo, they can pay $18 for some shampoo. I mean, I paid $1.99, but they can pay $18 if they want to. Clearly, Mark has not figured this out. He should have been more prepared this morning. What the hell?
The dude can fly a drone for the FAA, but he can't figure out a screen
Figure out how
share.
to present a screen share. Yeah. Down at the bottom in the middle, hit present, and then when it pops up, hit share screen, and it'll.
I gotta send it to you.
Yeah,
No.
He has to approve it.
I have
Oh,
to approve.
Okay. he
We
probably
can't just have you share the screen of your other hobby.
won't. There.
Kangaroo makes his head itch. Sell them all. You talking about like kangaroo hats? Are those still a thing?
I think I sent it.
There
So-
you go.
So we're gonna do some photos, some farms and stuff. I'll show you real quick. But that's the website, rivervalleydrones.com. That's our name. The
I like
next-
that logo. That looks really nice.
That was done within 10 minutes, $5 or $30. They did it.
Yeah.
It just
yeah.
came out. So I
It
spent
kind of looks
$40.
space agey-ish.
Looks like Darth Vader.
Yeah, a little bit.
Can you see the next slide?
Nope.
There
All
you
right,
go.
so the biggest thing I had to do here, and goes with what you guys were talking about, is what the workflow is. So I have engagement from website, online site. There's like Uber drone sites. There's 6 of them I signed up on where they get jobs to go out and take photos of stuff all over the nation, and they find a local pilot. So I'm signed up on 6 of them. And they have some requirements. But once I get a customer, I get the requirements. I send them a price quote, which I have Pixie set. $30 a month, full suite of photo stuff. They accept it through there. We go out and we do the flight. We get the photos. I'm not a photo editor. I'm not in the photo, like photographer. So there's a site called Pixel Mob with thousands of editors that I can send these photos to for like 30 to 50 cents a piece for them to color grade and everything. So I send those off. I do the drone video myself. It's a 2-minute video. We get them all back. Everything's fine. We upload them to Pixie Set. Customer pays. They do not get the watermark off the things until it's paid. And then it notifies them it's ready. They pay, they download, they do the terms of services and stuff. So that's the workflow. And if you look at the next slide real quick.
All right, hold on.
You have to be part.
I didn't realize that was part of the presentation.
Yeah, so you have to be part 107. That's $175. Plus, I paid $150 for a course. I got $300 in there.
That's it. That's not bad.
How many jobs is it going to take you to make the money back?
We should probably not the first year, probably the second year. We'll be into. We're shooting to really start out spring of next year. We're still building things up, getting trained.
How hard is it to pass that test? What do you got to do for it?
I spent about 20 hours studying and an hour and a half to take the test. It's
so is it all just a written?
Multiple choice. You have to go to a site, FAA site, PSI. You can't bring anything with you. You get 60 questions. You got to get 70%.
So James Steinbecker, this is the way it's set up, and I didn't set this up. This is the way StreamYard is because evidently there were complaints about what was being shown. And so in order to share a screen, the person who is hosting the thing must approve a screen. Thank you.
Yes.
Not anything I set up.
I got to say, Mark, when I was sitting in a Walmart parking lot, of course, a couple of months ago, and they were getting ready to pave the parking lot, and they had one of you guys with a drone a couple weeks before flying around over that parking lot to assess the parking lot, just so for paving. So I'm assuming it was the same type of program you're looking to get into for something like that.
Yeah. So the next thing, you got to register your drones. A Part 107 or over a certain amount of weight, that's $5 a piece. So they're registered. So you get both of my drones. I got 2 of them. Go to the next slide. We'll get through this real quick, and then we can. I had to come up with terms and conditions. I'm not a surveyor. I'm not a mapper. I'm just going to take photos. I'm not going to give you advice about your roof or what to do with your shingles. I'm going to take photos. You go to an expert. All that stuff and what rights of the videos. Here's my fleet. Everybody said, that's not a fleet. That's a pair. It's a fleet. The top drone on the left there, that one can be amortized through my CPA because of the price of it. So that's going to be amortized over a couple of years. The bottom right one is a lower cost one, but they're both DJI drones. They both.
That's not what the Mavic 3 looks like, though.
That's the Mavic 3 Pro.
So I had one. Mine was mine was just a DJI, just a 3. It wasn't the Mavic, so it had had the big legs or whatever was on it.
Yeah, they put 3 cameras in one on this one. And then the next slide.
Another cha-ching, I hear.
Cha-ching.
How do you present it to customers? I wanted a nice bag. I walk up, nice presentation. Plus, I want to secure this expensive drones. So each one has a case. These sites that you go on require certain equipment you got to buy. You got to have guards if you fly over people. For your propellers, you need SD cards. They ask if you got helmets, if you go on a construction site, all this stuff. Plus, I have a body camera I'm going to wear because you got drone Karens that don't know. They come after you. One guy got beat up pretty bad. You have to learn about airspace. Every one of those circles is an airport. There's certain places you cannot fly.
Did you say drone Karens?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you fly in those airspaces, like the magenta color ones, you don't need approval, but you get up close to the top there, that's the yellow is populated areas. That's Midway and O'Hare airports in Chicago. You don't want to be caught flying there without approval. A guy flew and
so say you had a job in one of those little areas, you just have to file a flight plan or file notice that you're going to be in the area. Is that what
they call it Lance? There's an app for most of it, but the airports where I'm at, where that red line is where I live. So all these airports are non-towered. So there's no control tower.
We got one of those right here.
So a guy, they call them TFRs, temporary flight restrictions, like when elected officials speak in or a president comes into town, or a White Sox plays at a game, they'll put temporary flight restrictions.
Evidently, unless it's Trump, then they don't do that.
Unless it's Butler, Pennsylvania.
What is that horse race down in Kentucky?
Kentucky Derby?
Kentucky Derby. So they put a TFR around Kentucky Derby, and they made it bigger than usual. And a guy started his drone in his yard to go fly up and get some of the traffic. FBI and everybody came over. He got arrested. They confiscated the drones. and he got fined thousands and thousands of dollars.
I'll say, well, what if I flew my drone around there? Can they do anything to me?
You can't even lift it up in your yard.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Mine is a 249 gram drone. Let's be if
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't require anything other. Well, it's a DJI, so it won't fly anyway because it's got computer.
If they're geofenced. The
Yeah.
only thing the weight does is it doesn't have to be registered or not. If you're
Yeah.
flying Part 107, you have to register your drone.
Yeah, if you're using it for commercial, and they're saying that including in YouTube videos that you should have to have your 107. Yeah.
There's a guy in Philadelphia, if YouTube
Any commercial
video got
use,
fined
yes.
$182,000.
Any
You got to check
commercial
your
use.
weather. You got to check all this other stuff you have to learn. Where to fly. That's the apps that they have. And then the next screen. This is a flyer I put together. How to engage people. Next one. So go back to one before that. So this is what I'm talking about, editing. This is the house I did. There's me in the yard. Okay. And then the tree's real dark. Afterwards, she lightened the tree and took me out of the yard. I don't know how to do that. Then the next one. So that's the same house, and she changed the sky and she lightened the tree, all for like 40 cents.
Nice.
So I think that's the end of the slides.
Ooh, yeah, you have to
cool.
kill you. Oh, there we go.
So I just wanted to show you putting the business together. This is how I do it. I work through the workflow. I got all the pieces together. We're getting trained. We're targeting. We're going to do introductory flights. We got 2 realtors we're going to be working with just to get it out there.
I think realtors are the key. I think that's a place where you can make local realtors need photos of the house. I think that's a market that you can.
Yeah. So one of the things I found I want to figure out real estate is I went out to Zillow and I looked at about 100 listings. Only a couple had drone shots. So, but that's my new thing. And what do I have a cost per month right now for the first year? Less than $100 is all I need to cover because you have to have insurance. I got insurance. I got all that stuff. Everything is paid for by the reselling business. So I don't have any loans or anything. So I just got to cover that. So while we're learning and gaining customers, we'll see what it is. The flight for a drone flight, national average is $150 for photos and drone video. I cannot charge that here because where I live, it's not California. So it's probably $60 to $100 a flight.
Here it would be even less.
Who's got a bunch of people in their background? Is that you, John?
That's John.
Is it me?
TV. Sounds like a TV going.
So I have
It is,
me and my son. I have a 27-page document on how to do those sites. This is for how to send it to the editors, and they're all on Dropbox and they're updated. So I have all the documents. So he could sit down and actually go from point 1 all the way to the end of an engagement and know how everything's done in there, and all that's set up now. So that's.
Go ahead. I was just going to
And
answer a question.
that's how you start a successful business. You're way ahead of the game from what most people do.
I want to be the one to tell you the bad news, Georgia Jane. I'm sorry. You can if you charge shipping, you can give a refund less your original shipping. If it was free shipping, you are SOL.
You could resend it, but I don't know. Can they? You'd have to get a payment by PayPal or something.
Definitely refund and tell them to repurchase because you don't want to be on the hook for shipping twice.
I ended up usually when I get one of those, I just refund and I just refund them. I don't even try.
So Eric wants to know, Mark, how much am I charging you for this commercial?
Well, we'll have to work on that. That's another thing about this. The competition is just local, this area to me. My son lives in Indiana, so we're 25 miles around his area, 25 miles around mine. Anything over that, I charge per hour to drive, not mileage. I'm not going to nickel and dime these people. I'm not going to say 10 photos if I do 12. We fly right now at $60 an hour. You want videos and stuff? a video, it's a half hour for editing, so $90. You want an introductory shot of your silo at a farm? I'll come out there and have a cup of coffee with him and fly it around. Then he talks to someone. Then he talks to someone. So we got to. I'm looking to pay for our hobby, and hoping it turns a little bit more. You know, and if we do one,
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think you're the word of mouth and the, you know, you treat it. It's like anything else. It's you do what you say you're going to do. You treat people kindly. You know, it's sales that both parties think that they lead the transaction with a good deal. You'll be amazed, you know, how many people they will tell versus.
Yeah. And some they said it seems low with 1,600. It does, because when you start something out, you don't want to go real low, because then you get those people with the baggage. You know, they're just profit hounds and, you know, money hounds. So if we start getting a lot more jobs, then the demand is there. Then we can raise our prices. So we'll probably be up over $100, $130 a shot in it if it gets going. But right now we can't go out there with our expertise, what we know, and how it being new, just be top dollar.
Yeah. So what was the Gary Vaynerchuk's book? Jab, jab, right hook. You know, you know, and I do believe, because, you know, he talks about how do you break into.
Damn, look at Scott quoting books.
Face itches.
So,
but it's his philosophy, and I do think that it works, and I agree with him that, you know, sometimes if you have to give things away, you have to work at a lower price, you have to do things to get in and prove to people you do what you say you're going to do, you know, all the things like that. So, and then the indicators are, if you're starting to get a lot of jobs, you want to raise your price to do a little bit less work and make the same money, but you don't want to price yourself out. Those are indicators. We're not even there yet. We're still talking to people to say, hey, we'll come out and take a shot of your dog run into a field just to get experience, get a portfolio. We don't have a big portfolio. So Ron asked me a question. I didn't know the answer. So all the smart people. So if you were selling a low cost item and you on eBay and you wanted to use postage, not like the regular labels, how do you print the label out without having to type it and copy paste it every time? Anybody know? Tell him in the chat if you do. I did. I've never sold anything that I use a stamp for.
I would think you'd have to copy and paste it. Mark, you used to sell with just stamps. How did you print the address labels out?
Oh, I didn't catch all that, but before eBay standard envelope, I have a stamp with my return address. I put a postage stamp, a forever stamp on. Then I would cut and paste the address out of the shipping label on eBay and copy it to a Dymo label and stick it on the envelope. I still do that. I still do that now for photos and international. I use these. I just stick a $1.55 stamp on there. It goes at most world cities. No tracking. Anything happens, I have to refund. How many have I refunded in 3 years? I can't even remember. Hardly any. I just sent $120 worth of postcards in 7 envelopes to a guy in Australia for $1.85 an envelope.
I have a standard envelope question for you, Mark, and you're the only one I know who could answer it correctly. Well, I'm sure there's others, but Cleveland doesn't like my eBay standard envelopes. I've sent out maybe 15. I've been doing sports cards because it's easy for me to do while I'm working the other job. And out of 15 sports cards, I've had 3 of them that never made it past Cleveland. Is that something normal, or is it just Cleveland sucks?
So the tracking for the eBay standard envelope didn't happen, or did it?
It happened, and it got to Cleveland, and then they stopped.
But did the customer, you have to refund them?
3 customers so far, yeah.
Yeah, so eBay standard interval is not like package tracking. It's only done at the sorting centers. Your carrier and post office cannot scan those. Their wands does not work. Only at the
I get a lot that say delivered though.
Huh?
I get a lot that say delivered, so I'm assuming there's a delivery scheme.
I do a video every month from the month before of 100 standard mailings that I do, and I have a graph for year to date. I would say about 90% get 80 to 90% get the scans. The ones that don't, then you don't. But if you refund them and they say in a case or a message that you didn't receive it, go ahead and refund them and then put a claim in through eBay standard insurance in 30 to 90 days and you get your money back. So if it's lost or damaged.
I mean, this is all $2 or $3 postcards and I'm not that worried about it, or sports cards, but it seems to me that was high, that I have 3 customers. Or is it just a sports card thing because they know that those aren't tracked?
I have a lot of cards that don't say delivered, and I never hear anything.
Right.
And I went back through and looked at all of them. At a good portion of them don't ever say anything. There was one that didn't even say, it never got a scan at all. It just went through apparently.
A lot of times I found it's either the post office didn't scan it or the post office sent the information and eBay didn't parse the information right.
Okay.
We don't know where the problem is, but it's a service provided by the post office. Etsy uses it. Mercari uses it. They all use that little barcode, but it's not as robust as package. Last year I got back $70, $80 in insurance just on $4 postcards.
I
got a guy right now
$6 or $8 right now, and so I'm not that worried. But I needed to know for the future what the process was.
Your littler post offices and stuff might not know what to do with it, but your bigger ones, it's standard. It
should be treated just treated like a letter. I mean,
you would think, my post office does a good job. It's
this is not a new invention. It's just something that eBay's allowed us to use. This has been in the postal system for quite a while.
Yeah.
LetterTrack used that code for years before they went to that. What this gives you is a little more than we had with the label. And also every postcard, trade card seller out there on eBay now is a top rated seller because they got tracking.
Right.
So
but it also gives some, but it's a good fair trade for eBay because it inspires confidence to the buyer that they can see where it is through the process. And so it's a good trade.
So this one I got back, this guy's having a problem with his post office, but that when that label hits, it looks really nice instead of stuff on there. And where before with the label, anything happened, I just refund because eBay can't back me up.
So I got a message that someone wants to know, Mark, when you're flying your drone and you get to the ice wall, are you allowed to go over it, or does your drone just fall off the edge of the flat Earth?
I haven't got that far yet. So the dragons. I'm more worried about the dragons.
Turtle that holds up the.
Hey, it's a day tonight. One of the guys on TikTok who said he's a time traveler said that you'll know he's a time traveler because on August 9th, the Leviathan is going to wake back up because they're going to discover the Leviathan in the Caribbean. So although you're on Friday, we might have a really good show Friday night if the Leviathan wakes back up, and they see it down the end of South America. If he wakes up.
Did you see the one TikToker who claims to be a time traveler? And it's definitely a comedy routine, but he goes back to the Old West and his film is in black and white. Like, of course it would be.
So I thought I would bring that to you, Scott, to show you how I'm putting this together, and we can ask me later on what the heck we're doing to are we making any money or whatever? But we're treating it more like me and my son can do something together. And there's one other thing you can do with this. In between gigs, you can go out and take these fantastic shots, edit them, and put them on wire stock. And stock photos. You might get $10 a month.
So the one thing I would tell you is it's very, people are like, why would you want to hear about starting a drone business and what does that have to do with a reselling channel? I can tell you 100%. It's the same thing. What he told you, I wanted to pay for a hobby. It's something he's very interested in.
I'll be back.
How do you make money? How do you do things more successful? How, you monetize your hobby and monetize your interest. You know, even if it's just to pay for, I don't think people realize what's the Mavic 3 Pro. Is it still $750, $800? Or have they gone up?
The Mavic 3 Pro was full in was about $3,200.
Oh shit!
The little
Mini
one,
It's
the
like
little
$500.
one, the full package I got for the Mini 4 Pro was almost $2,000.
Because you can buy just the. So what do you get extra then? Because you can get the drone for $500.
Yeah, you can get the drone, the controller, and the battery without the fly combo and the other things.
So
Pretty.
you get extra batteries, extra blades, a blade
Yeah,
cover.
I got 3 batteries. The Mavic Pro, I got about an hour and a half worth of batteries. I got 3 batteries. The Mini 4 Pro, I got 3. I got the ND filters. I got the guards. I got, you name it. I have three bags. My camera bag with the
I forget
DSLR
about the
camera.
bags. Each specific bag for each one.
And each one has SD cards. Each one has controllers. And the controllers these come with, I don't need to put my phone on it, so I paid extra for those. It's got the Android phone right in it. You just pull it out and go. The reason I got the 3 Pro is because I can be 300 feet, a quarter mile away and read your license plate. It's an optical zoom, not a digital zoom, with the 1, 7, and 3 and 7 zooms. And
I need coffee. I'm out of here.
So the little Mini 4, like we had hail damage on our roof. We got the contractor coming out, and the insurance company wants me to fly up and do my own roof. So once he comes out, I'm going to be able to do that and get those photos for her. There's a tree that broke through a house at my father-in-law's place. The guy wants me to come out and grab some photos of his house, stuff like that. And to do that one shot I showed you, that was less than 10 minutes to take those shots.
It takes you longer to get there than it does to do everything.
Yeah, and what else do I got to do? I'm retired. I want to get out. I want to do something. I don't want to sit behind here counting postcards all day. So I got the postcard stuff figured out. It's making money. It's gonna, and then if I can get some more money coming in from that, and then
so Flip It Good is that'd be a good ebook to sell an ebook on how to set up a drone business. That'd be how what you need to do to set up your own drone. You could you're so detail oriented. You make an ebooks and how to books. I bet you could be very successful starting another YouTube channel on how to do that. I think because it would have residual views because that'd be something people would look at. Yeah. There's a lot of questions about the 107.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I put this document together without how to do that. So later on, as I get better at this, because right now I don't have what they call authority in drone flying.
Right.
I have authority in postcards because I've been doing it for so long. Experience, YouTube, 55,000 listings. I've seen enough. In drones, I'm still an amateur. So if I go out there and put an ebook out right now next month, some of these sites ask me how many jobs have I done. It was 1 to 3, 2 to 5, 500 plus. I had to put 1 to 3. I'm not.
But now, can you count you can count your own as one. You can count one for your father-in-law.
I got to fill up that webpage with a lot of shots and different things. There's one guy from the sites. He has a construction site 10 minutes from his house. They're building this big warehouse complex, and it came in through one of those contracting Uber drone things. He goes out every week, takes 20 photos and a video of the place, and he sends it to Fly Guys or wherever the contractor company was. He gets $100. He's there 10 minutes. 10, 15 minutes. So those are the gigs that he said he's gotten about 10 or 12 of those in the last 2 years, jobs like that. This one's going to last 2 years. Right. So if we can land on something like that, but you never know. I don't know. So, but I'm not scared to jump into something we don't know, and we're going to fall on our face. But there's so much information on YouTube that I learned. That's why I learned also.
As long as your drone doesn't fall on his face, it gets expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Those drones also, I have the DJI refresh. So if I drop it in a lake or it crashes, I just send it in, they fix it or replace it. And then liability insurance is, the insurance is only $44 a month for $500,000 liability. Most places want $1 million. That's $62.
How can you do $1 million worth of damage with that little bitty thing? You got to set the place on fire, I guess.
You can't fly over people unless you have a waiver and some other things. But if you're flying, this thing can do 30, 40 miles an hour, this Mavic. And if I'm flying that fast and I go over people and it drops, it's going to have that kinetic energy and hits them in the head. That's where you get a problem. So I don't fly over people. We're not planning to do weddings and stuff. I don't need a bridezilla after me.
Yeah. You think drone carrying is bad? Wait,
look at it on YouTube. Some of these people have gotten beat up from people coming out of their houses. That's why you wear a vest and stuff sometimes in your neighborhoods to kind of show that you're doing something. But this one guy got beat up and it's a federal offense to mess with a remote pilot with a drone in the air because you're messing with a pilot in command. Some people have gotten arrested and stuff for shooting drones because they're, Johnny Law, can't fly over my property. You fly up, as soon as you're off the ground, you're in FAA jurisdiction. Your towns and everything, I can fly over your house. You can't say anything about that, really, but you still want to be a good neighbor. You don't want to peek in Lily Bell's window while she's getting dressed.
But I mean, it's not like you're going to be low enough down where you can get into a window most of the time.
No, so a lot of people, where I live, right out my back door, I got bean fields and a cornfield. There's no houses built there yet. So I've been flying out there all over the place. You can't fly above 400 feet. You can't go more than 3 line of sight. You got to have visibility at 3 statute miles. Airplanes fly at 500 and above, so you got that buffer zone. This drone here will tell me if an aircraft is around, and it'll tell them if an aircraft is. You also now have remote ID.
Man, if a plane's at 500 feet, I don't know if I want to be on it.
Yeah. Now, if you're doing a cell tower and the cell tower is 500 feet, you can go 400 feet above that because if the plane is flying down there, they got more problems than your drone. So those are all the rules that you have to learn, and it can be very costly. I think it's $1,500 every time you mess with a regulation. And now, are they out there going to come after you? No. But if someone calls in, you could lose your license.
So a lot of rules here to follow. Same thing with reselling, folks.
Yes.
You gotta listen. If you listen to people that are always telling you how to take advantage of things, then you can be much more successful the other way. Learn to follow the rules, stay within the rules, learn what you're allowed to do. You'll be amazed if you get very good at doing things the right way. I truly believe you get rewarded for that. I'm no super secret eBay seller. I just started listing on eBay again. Today after I ship my 26 or 27 now. As soon as I get these crazy things shipped out, I plan on listing another 20 or 25. Whatever it takes to get me to $600 in sales. So I number whatever it is. I'm listening to a dollar amount every day, and I know a couple people have done this and changed the way you think about listing. Try me out on this one. If you want to sell $500 a day, list $500 a day. Forget the 1, the 10, the 100, the whatever. It doesn't matter how many items it takes. List that dollar amount every single day. You will be shocked at the results because the given in this whole thing that once you truly understand the way the sales work on these online platforms is if you want to sell $100,000 this year on eBay, you've got to list $100,000. And I would tell you've got to list way more than that because in order to get to that sales number, if you've got a 30% sell-through rate, I think my math is right. You're going to have to list close to $300,000. I think that's correct.
You got to find $300,000.
Oh, and it can be done because
depends on where you're at and what you're doing. Sure.
And then it changes the way you look at it. Changes the way you process information. It really makes you look at it and go, how many of these $10 items can I sell okay, so I'm not saying you can't be a volume seller, because I think James Reseller Life, he's put in the work. It's absolutely true. Mark has his postcards. That, there are exceptions if you can build these large, but for most people starting out, or most people are not going to have space for. I think it's at 58,000. Just not going to have. I can't imagine trying. If I had to go pick out items to ship from that, oh my God, please shoot me. My mind is. I'm not good enough organized. But so say your ASP is $17, and then what happens if I move it to 30? You start listing items that are more expensive. You will be. It changes the way you see things. It changes the way you evaluate products. It changes the way you look at your business.
So,
Because
to give an example of the different things you can do, like postcards, there's different levels. You got the real photo postcards that are worth $50, $100, $200 ones. Then you got the intermediate ones, and then you got some of the ones like I do, divided back to Chrome, which are $4 to $8 cards. I cannot spend a lot of time on these cards, lose money. So I touch it 4 times. When I buy it, when I scan it, when I list it, when I sell it. I might miss something, but I'm not worried about 50 cents. I don't get a lot of questions. I don't do best offer on these because there's no room. But if you get up into the higher level stuff, ASP stuff, you're going to get more collectors, more people asking questions. You're going to spend a lot of time researching. So you need to get that money back. I didn't want to do that. I'm not a researcher like that. So I'll throw this up. Takes me 30 seconds.
But there's nothing wrong, because when Dusty he was doing postcards before he passed, he was the researcher, and so he had a bunch of regular, but he didn't miss them because there's lots of people like Josh is in the chat. Good morning, A, who like the research, who like finding out the history, and but there's nothing wrong with your method or their method. It's just choose one, and you can have a blend.
I sell a lot of postcards to other resellers because they can take it to the next level. I get my 50, 60%, 40% margin out of it already. I got what I wanted and out there and stuff. Like I got these cards here. I still do them. This is a $60 keyhole Halloween card.
That's a cool looking card.
And so Stephanie, average ASP is average sales price. And so it means if I sold $300 today on eBay and I sold 10 items, my average sales price is $30.
Mm-hmm. So mine's between $5.50 and $6 right now. I'm looking at this year compared to last year and stuff. It's not a downtrend, side trend, uptrend. It's more of a side trend. I'm looking against last year because everything's all over the place. It doesn't give me a good trend. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it. But I'm about flat with last year. But my ASP is going up because I am buying some better cards. Because I got rid of toys and stuff. I had to bring that up to pay the expenses. But my expenses are so low that by the second day of the month, all my expenses for the month are paid. But there has been days this year I've had a $5 payout, but I've had $200, $300 payouts. But the average payouts are not like they used to be last year. So I had to adjust my spending.
So Josh, Bama, Reese, are you still here? That's one of my better pickups from the 127.
Nice.
This was still sitting there I had to give $80 for it, but it was still sitting there. Which one is this one? Yeah, this is the D300. It's the older one, but it's the more expensive of the two.
Nice.
The guy had a D3100, had this D300, and so I bought these, and then he's like that lens goes with them. Just take that lens. It was the Nikon fisheye lens that goes with these things. I've got it listed for $175. He's like, I'm like, I didn't have any money. I made a mistake resellers make that you should. I grabbed 500, so I had 600 when I started today, and by the time I got to him, I'm like, I had $100 left, $104. So I bought this one, making sure I'd have it. I'm like, man, is there ATM around here? He goes, that convenience store right there, there's got one. I'm like, so he put it behind, and he's like, I'll hold it for you. So when I came back, he's like, I've got these 2 other cameras. Are you interested in them? There were 2 Canons. One was a Sure Shot, which it's worth $50 to $60. The other one was one of the little the Elf Power Shots. It sold in an hour for $130. So yeah, cameras suck. Please don't pick up cameras.
What did you have all together in them?
205.
It's not bad. You already made your money back. Just on the one lens and that
So,
one camera.
Scott, you have authority in cameras. You can tell people about camera. You know what to pick up. You've sold enough. And that's where a lot of resellers need to get authority in something. And they feel good about walking into a place.
It's more electronic. I wouldn't call myself a camera. I mean, I know a lot about cameras, but it would be more of a general electronics. Like yesterday I picked up, but I would tell you, when you're looking at these things, don't limit yourself, because in today's age and time, what's the difference between an electronic versus a kitchen appliance? If y'all have seen any of the videos or pictures that John's asleep, but their refrigerator went out. They went and bought do I have pictures of it? They went and bought a Samsung refrigerator.
Oh yeah, John said he bought a TV on a refrigerator.
Yeah.
Is that one of
It's
those
got a
refrigerators
camera
that
inside the refrigerator.
Okay, so don't look at his
reorders
kitchen,
for you?
That's his new
wanted one.
new refrigerator. He's like, I figured out how to put YouTube on my refrigerator.
Yeah.
Kitchen
I
appliance.
love those.
The blur between. He's also an expert on big girl panties.
Yeah.
He doesn't know he's going to be an expert. So Friday Friday night on a live show, I was only like $10 away from breaking 1,000 for the day, or $7. So Jenna went in there and ordered some toothpaste. I've been experimenting with using coupons to get stuff for free, and so it was only like an $8 or $9 list. I was only gonna make $3 or $4, but I didn't pay anything for it, and it was an easy list. And so for packing material, I use big girl panties.
Well, Todd's got authority and an expert in toothbrush holders.
That's right.
Damn right.
How many have you sold, Todd?
2.
Oh
God, none.
0.
Just fake it then.
Fake it till
So
you
just
make
wait.
it.
Just wait till he opens the package, and I didn't take them out of their package. But I use for packing material. I use two big girl panties.
You should include that with every order that you sell. Just one.
Nice and
free
secure.
gift.
They're going to get there. It's going to be awesome. But so the blend between what a kitchen appliance is, because they're very similar to electronics because of the stuff that's in them now and the way they're made. And so that's just a natural. How do you go? But so how do you go in a thrift store or a yard sale, or whatever, and go, I want to expand what I buy, but also buy things that are kind of in my wheelhouse. It's related categories that are the line between them blurs. So it's been. No, I didn't. The box is not big enough to put a ceiling tile in there, Kent. I would have thrown a ceiling tile in there. But if you focus more on doing the right thing, doing positive things, instead of I'm saving $2 because I'm using priority boxes on UPS, then now you're going to have to worry about what will that, because technically UPS will allow you to use them, but there's also, remember, UPS has got some of the same characteristics as USPS. You'll get it to a hub or somewhere, and you'll get Karen. And Karen decided that's technically not allowed. You can refuse to, generally they will deliver it if it's in a box. I don't think UPS has hardly any rules about it. But they were, because they're not as strict as the post office. But you're taking a chance.
So one of the things, Scott, with the postal Karens, there's a thing, and if you send out those big brown eBay envelopes and you put postcards, sometimes they say they're too rigid, or there should be a flat, and they charge them a flat rate. When I saw the expense above eBay standard cards, I've been putting them in these little cheap boxes, these 751s, and that way they're a package. I pay the extra $1 or whatever extra. I don't have the issues with those post offices that I've heard. I've never had it, but a lot of people in the postcard world they'll put them in those real stiff envelopes, and they can't go to the machines, and they're hitting them with package pricing.
I've used those eBay ones, and I've never had an issue. However, I have to usually pay more. I have to pay the higher amount because it makes everything over an ounce.
So the best envelope for trade cards and stuff are EchoSwift 6.5, 4.5 photo mailers. You can put about 3 or 4 cards in here for an ounce.
Do you have a link for those?
Yeah. In my video, just go to one of my videos on the bottom.
Because because I think part of my issue is I'm using just regular envelopes.
No.
And they might be getting stuck in machines or something, and that's why they're not going.
If it can go around a pop can, is what a postal person told me.
And for
what the hell's pop?
you can't send a baseball card unless you put it in
Coke.
a rigid
Where you
holder.
live.
Go around a Coke can. There you go. Please don't confuse the audience. This is with pop and soda and all that crazy. It's everything's Coke.
I'm using these to put the cards in, which are semi-rigid holders, but they might be too thick even. Not not regular top loaders. These bend. But I don't want to send a sports card without some sort of protection.
Yeah, on the postcard world, they're not as worried about corners,
right? Because they're already used.
So I use a penny mailer, sleeves.
Sure, that's what I was using when I was doing postcards. Yeah,
the more expensive ones in the boxes go in these semi-bendle ones.
Yeah,
but there's no reason to send a postcard all wrapped up with bubble wrap and all that stuff because they're made to be mailed, and you can't sell a postcard for $4 and have $5.
Did you read that already?
So.
No, these are made specifically to send cards into like the grading companies, and they're like that. The more rigid one that you have, they're about that
the semi-rigid,
and they're really good. They work good. I buy these used on eBay because as long as they're clean, why not?
If you check out one of my videos on the channel, it's a big orange thumbnail, and it says eBay Center Steve. It's about a 15-minute video. You can go to the end and see the graph I do every month. It'll tell you how many scans these things really get. If it's a below 90% on any scans, we get more work because people say, "Where's my postcard? Where's my trade card?" If it stays above 90, it seems like we're doing. I've been doing it for about 2 years, but the average time for a card for this year, from the time I mailed it to the customer, is 5 days for the post office.
Yeah, so the ones that go through, the ones that I know go through, get delivered fairly quickly. I'm not worried about that. It's just the ones that, I've had a high number of, "Where's my postcard?" That's all.
And also, when it says delivered, it's still at the sorting center. It takes 1 or 2 days to get to the house.
I see. Okay.
So the one thing, so Ron and I had a conversation about this, and it would apply to you guys and some of the lost, is whenever you're basically self-insured, because Ron has a product that he only has $1 into it, and by the time he pays for the postage, it's way more than what he wants to be able to charge it at a lower price to get an advantage on his competition, who sells a few of the same things. And so that's why he's interested in making it easier for him to do stamped postage on it, because he understands that the item doesn't have the value in it. So he's willing to do the self-insurance because you don't have tracking on it. It just gets there like they did in the old days. It's the same thing here. The postage is so cheap. Generally, if you're selling a sports card that had any kind of value in it, you would want tracking on it. If it's a $5 to $10 card.
I sold a Deion Sanders card for $19.99 because a standard envelope's under 20, right? And I couldn't bear to put that in a standard envelope, and I packaged it nicely, and I spent the extra money on ground advantage because I want that card to get there because they paid more for it.
Another thing is eBay standard envelope doesn't require acceptance scans because they can't. It's done at the hubs. It just needs a scan somewhere in the system, pretty much, in there. So a lot of people say, "Why they bring it to the post office? They can't scan it." Mark, what do you do? Well, they cannot do that. It doesn't work that way. Just put it in the mailbox. I put them in the mailbox out front of my house. I've dropped them in blue boxes. I brought them and hand them to the counter, throw them in the slot.
I drop
all
in
goes
blue
in
boxes once in a while.
It all comes out the same pipe.
I'll drop a lot of things in the blue boxes. Sometimes they get angry at me though, if it's too heavy.
So Mark, they do have an app now where they have a scanning app, which makes it a little more tolerable. But
that barcode on the eBay standard envelopes always gets rejected. The people at the counter, the message I get from people, it's not a USPS code that they can read. Now, packages are different because you pay more. But for 69 cents, it's more than we had 2 years ago. But a lot of the old-time collectors are finally, we used to get hit with where's my postcard almost every week. I track that every month. I get an average about one a week now. Not even that.
so Michael says, which pirate ship would offer standard envelope? Has anybody sent them a message requesting that?
Jeez, you got a lot of links in your videos there, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the envelope link, and you got like 600 links in your.
I'm a seller. People say, why do you promote so much? Because I'm a seller. You click on it, it's no cost to you, and you'll get a nice little penny. It's sorted in sections.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it. It's about, what is it, under envelope show?
Now, if you want to buy just small packs, Steve, out at the top of the description, it's called Ko-Fi. It's kind of like buy me a coffee shop I got. You can buy 10, 25 envelopes from me. I have smaller. If you want to just try them, there's a 10-pack in there.
I'm just looking for something that's better than a regular store-bought envelope.
You know what? Send me an email, and I'll send you some to try.
Oh, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, I'll send you some to try. I got packages of them.
I'm just looking for something that makes it a little bit, because the little brown eBay ones, and I've got white ones over here that are similar, that weigh a little bit less, but they're still over an ounce when I put a card in them. So I need to find something that weighs less than an ounce. That's all.
These are horrible cards too.
Yeah, that's the other ones I got right there.
Yeah, those are two.
Craig says, isn't standard envelope an eBay rate? It's probably a commercial rate. I can't imagine it. It's just specifically for eBay.
EcoSwift 6x5x4.5 rigid photo mailer. Is that it?
Yes. They're usually 12 to 14 cents on Amazon if you buy. I buy in my cases of 500, which I have about 4,000 here.
Yeah.
They come in box of 500, but you can buy smaller, but then the price goes up a penny or so.
So Michael says he gets envelopes from the Dollar Tree.
If it works for you, I guess.
He said, no, there aren't any other sports card sites that offer it.
Yeah, these are not waterproof. They're more little water resistant. They got to have a semi-gloss on them. Plus, they don't have to do this to get them into any slots or mailboxes. It'll slide into anything, so they won't do this to your stuff. And I've never had a problem. Thousands and thousands of these. And
I could buy 3,000 of them.
What are we at? Is it 9 o'clock yet? 9:08.
Yeah, like I said, Steve, if you want a small batch of them, just hit me up. I saw them.
I'll probably just end up buying them because I have. My goal is to list about 30,000 sports cards, over the winter, and I have the software. I can't remember what it's called right now, but it scans the cards. It gives you the card. It's so nice. It's easy to use.
Yeah,
and I can list 500 a month with that. I said 30,000 because I'm not gonna. For $9 a month, I'm going to use it. So. Yeah. And then if I ever get better than that, then I'll look into different software because there's others.
What software are you using, Steve?
I'm Card Dealer Pro right now, but it's $9 a month to list 500 cards, and it works really well.
Is that specifically for sports cards, or?
Yeah, and it uses AI to identify the card for you. It's so nice, and it works really well.
There's people now, Scott and Steve, that are taking postcards and automating the process of listing and putting them out there, and they're doing 10,000 a month, getting them up there, and stuff like that. And people
So
ask
how
me
are
about it. And I
So
said,
how are they automating that listing then?
I haven't really checked into it, but one of the hardest things about postcards is they're not as standardized as sports
Right.
cards, RBI and spots. And they have writing, they have different pictures or cut. But people ask me what I think of it. And I said, I don't care if I put up 10,000 postcards this month, I'm going to sell a percentage of those because they're new. But they're going to go through the cycle, the sales cycle. They're going to hit new. They're going to hit save searches. They're going to get a lot of sales. Then they're going to be intermediate. Then they're all going to go long tail. They're just going to sit out there. So they can get, people do this, but they got to understand it's going to be long tail at some point. I got cards from 2019 in these boxes. And
I have to get a new scanner because this particular scanner, I'm using an Epson.
So Michael, he says that they're expanding the non-sports cards.
Yeah. I'm using an Epson DS560 and it leaves lines on every card. And I've taken the wheel out and everything. So I've got to get a different.
Yeah, it's a lens. The 580W are the newest ones, but you can find a 402, ES 402. They're starting to come down because the 580s are out on eBay for less than $100.
I need something that doesn't leave lines on my cards.
Yeah, what you're having
with the postcards, it didn't matter as much because they're used, and but with sports cards, you gotta.
That's something with the lens, but with
No, it's the wheels. It leaves physical lines on my cards.
Oh, on the physical card, not the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 400 and stuff don't do that. But I have all. If someone bought a 400 or a 580 or the little 60W scanner, this little guy right here. It's not duplex. It's just more for receipts and stuff. But if you bought one of those, I have the settings in my Ko-Fi store free. You get one of these, go get the settings plugged in, you're ready to go in minutes. And I haven't put
this is crazy. They have a thing that'll put on top for $250. It'll load 1,000 cards at a time through a Fujitsu scanner.
Yeah,
Michael, have you ever seen those magic card robots?
That's insane.
The magic card robots, sorting machines. They put all these magic cards in, and they put them in. And it goes around and puts all these magic cards in.
Michael, when I use the penny sleeve, then it just left the lines on the penny sleeve, and you can see it in the scan. So when I get a new scanner, I'll still try it that way. Mm-hmm. So it didn't matter how I did it with this particular scanner. Now I bought this used off of eBay 3 or 4 years ago when I was doing postcards, and it worked wonderfully. It paid for itself. It was great. But for sports cards, it's a little pickier market there because it has to be in a certain condition.
Yeah, you can find a good used 400. The only problem is the lens and the lines. If maybe people got rid of it because of that, So
yeah,
the 580W has got an LCD screen and wireless.
Yeah, I'm not going to go out and buy some very expensive machine, not right now, because I'm not selling a whole lot. But I'd like to. I mean, I got so many cards. Oh my god! And there's a lot of decent $4 or $5 cards in there. And if I can sell them and use eBay standard envelope, I can make a decent amount of money. I might even open up a different eBay account for it. But
so that's I would suggest that if you're gonna do any of these kind of things and you're gonna sell these bulk items like this, they've got to have their own. They've got to have their own because it'll weigh down your. I still am firmly entrenched in the school that they are looking at the sell-through rate of your. So that's why I would almost tell Todd, Todd, you need 2 eBay stores. I hate to be the one to break this to you, but you have items that are long-term bulk that probably should be in the store by themselves, and then your other items would. I would think that, with toothbrush holders, Band-Aids, the stuff that you've got thousands of sitting around there, and call it, West Texas bulk resale, whatever, bulk wholesale, whatever you want to be, and I bet it would spur and free up your regular store.
Probably,
I'm going to buy me 50
envelope. I mean, listen to Primo and what Primo says it is more work, but he is, he used InkFrog to not delete the listings, and they took a month to separate their stores, and he's got 3 and thinking about a 4th one. But it's is it harder to run multiple stores? It is harder to run multiple stores, but I'm telling you this: whenever they change things, and you're not getting the results you want, and you understand that sell-through rate's important and other these things are important, and there are ways that you can get around this by creating causing yourself a little more work, but then to get the results you want. At some point, it's not eBay's fault anymore. It's your own damn fault, because I'm here to one to tell you, if you're not willing to change and do the work and do things you need to do in order to move a business forward, at some point in the day, you have to take responsibility for your lack of action.
Yeah. So Scott, you guys all know about the enemy list and then sell similar stuff. Now
Yeah.
I don't do that because I don't want to break links and I just want to do it, screw up 55,000 listings. I'm having a lot of emails in the last few months from people, postcard buyers and sellers are getting complaints because those postcard people will go out and do 10,000 enemy list or whatever. Well,
Right.
Guess what that hits? It hits the buyer's saved searches. In postcard
Right.
world, those are big, a ton of them that people have them. And they ask me, how can they block a certain seller because they keep getting the same stuff shown to them. They want new stuff. So there is a drawback to some of that in the postcard world to save searches for your regular buyers. I don't know what the impact is, but I'm getting a lot more emails from sellers and buyers getting complaints about that.
Yes, Mike. He said 55,000 listens.
Yeah.
So Mike, it is a pain. So there are ways around it. So the one thing I would tell you is, if you want to run 2 stores, the best thing you can do is get yourself an older Samsung phone. So I've got. Let me grab the other one.
Yeah, what
You
I
don't
do
even
with
need
mine,
that.
when
I have a second. It's just a Nokia C110.
when I had 2 stores, the toy store and postcards, I did one on Google Chrome and one on Microsoft Edge or Safari. And
Yeah,
Chrome.
so you can either use multiple browsers.
That's
Samsung has a feature. This is an S21. I think you can do S10 is when S9 or 10 when it started. Let's see if I got the password right. So right in the middle of the screen, you see where it says secure folder? That little blue thing right in the middle.
Yeah.
So there's the eBay. eBay's down there. I got to clear the notifications. I don't ever mess with this phone much. It just stays up on the charger. But it's one of my favorite phones ever, so I don't get rid of it. So it has eBay. So if you hit the secure folder and it's going to ask me for a pin again, just use the same one. You see eBay again in there? That eBay is not affected by the other eBay. So that eBay runs in a separate environment. So if I were to hit the camera up here, take a picture of the camera, it's got that little thing inside of it. It tells you this inside the secure folder. So that means in order to see those pictures, I would have to look at the gallery inside the secure folder because it is a complete separate environment from your regular phone. So it's a phone inside of a phone, basically. And so if you run a second eBay store,
thing, right?
yeah, it's a Samsung thing. So if you have your second login, so if you say second store is in here, all you'd have to do is hit the secure folder, put your thumb on it, and then you can see what's going on in the second store, make all your changes, use the same phone to do whatever. And if you want to switch to the other store, you exit out of that, and then you're back to your other store. I'm telling you, Samsung with the secure folder is the easiest way to run 2 stores by not having to log in, not having to change, because I like using the app better than I like using the browsers. So that's the only way I know to use 2 stores on one phone without having to log in and log out to each one. But it's Samsung does it. Started with like the S9 or S10, but it's called a secure folder. And Phil, you're not that old that it's that confusing. You just hit one button and it opens up your other store. It's not everything you do inside the secure folder is completely separate. It has its own dedicated memory. So when I had the phone, what I usually did with it was I kept my second eBay store there. I also kept all my banking apps in there. So you had to go through two things to find the banking apps on a phone. So it looks like if it just says secure folder, you can change it to whatever you can change it and say second eBay store, and that'd be the only thing in there. You can do whatever you want to with the folder, but
That's what I did with the toys and postcards. I had two browsers and I did that. It wasn't hard to deal with it. Then the money just comes together in two separate payouts to the account. And on the spreadsheet, you just total those two together. That's your eBay sales.
and then you ship with Pirate Ship and tell Pirate Ship to pull. Pirate Ship will pull as many eBay accounts as you've got, which makes it much less confusing. So if you got a postcard store, you wouldn't want to pull it over there because you don't want to use the standard envelope. So when you ship every day, do you use the eBay's bulk shipping then? All at one time? Yeah.
No, I do one at a time. Cause I'm five steps from my inventory, and I want to make sure each card goes in the right envelope. I got fancy years ago. You send one card wrong to one person, you've done it twice because you sent another card wrong to the other person.
Right. Oh, that's the way it is with all of them. If you make one mistake, you've sent something to somebody else.
So sure. My goal this year is to sell 16 cards a day, average for the year. Right now with this lower sales, I'm doing about 11 or 12. So I only got 12 cards to pack up. That's 10 minutes for me. So I want to make sure I got the right one. The bigger orders and stuff, but I don't get into all that bulk stuff because I've just had bad issues with that years ago, and I don't sell enough. I'm not that big of a seller.
I was just asking out of curiosity. I don't think it's a good or a bad.
I think I'm just stuck in my own little world with it. So, but Pirate Ship.
So Mike, there's different ideas that I've got for multiple stores. And one of them will be, 90 days, maybe 180 days, whatever that date is. I would tell you in your custom SKU, maybe put a date in there too, the location and a date listed. And that way, because remember, it's going to start over and it's hard to figure out how long that listing's been there. So if you put a date in the custom SKU that goes with the location, as things hit, you can filter by these things. As things hit 6 months, move things to your second store. And that way, the first store always has items that are less than 6 months old. And then stuff that has value and you still want to sell and you're not worried about when it sells, let it roll into a second store. There's plenty of things you can do in order to keep your main prime store moving and, fresh inventory and stuff that's not older. And then also allow, because most things, most people will tell you, I buy things knowing, dude, I've got $1 in this and I'm gonna get $100 for it. I don't care if I wait forever, because if I gotta wait a year and a half, 2 years, because I got $1 in it. And so if it had its own store like that, so Lag's got 11 stores. Nice, Lag. Mike, I don't think it's an item in a listing. I think it would be what the sell-through rate, what the sales history of that item is. Well, Todd can tell you now. How long have you had these toothbrushes listed?
Couple of months.
How long have you had the Band-Aids listed?
Now, the Band-Aids are selling. I've sold about a third of them.
No.
The question, Todd, was how long you've had them.
Oh, the Band-Aids probably 4 months.
Oh, I thought it was
It's
years.
not bad. No,
I
that's
thought
not bad.
The Band-Aid's surely been around longer now. We've been making Band-Aid jokes longer than that.
Oh, well, okay. You know me better than me. I don't know.
Okay, so at his advanced age, 4 months is like 3 years.
Okay.
In Todd years, not dog years.
But I've had SpongeBob SquarePants night lights for 6 years, and I'm almost sold out of 300 of them.
That would be the type of item, Mike, something like that is going to take an extended period of time. Even though I would challenge you, even if they had a small sell-through rate, 6 years for 300.
So
I'm not saying Todd's a bad seller. I'd have bought them too.
Did you say that was the Epson ES580W?
Yeah, that's the newest one.
But those
I found one refurbished from Epson.
Yeah, so the 500 series.
2,400 toothbrush holders cost $11. 2,400 for $11. So I got nothing in them. I ain't worried about them.
So, Steve, the 500 series and the 400 are document scanners. So
Right.
you got the settings are in my Ko-Fi store. And listen, you go there, they're free. And you got to set some things correctly. Now, the photo scanners are in the 6 series or whatever. Those are more expensive. But, Scott, this is what postcard, I'm going to use this in a video. This is a postcard I found. This is what a postcard seller is, persistence.
Mm.
And you just rot waiting to sell those cards because they are long tail.
I'd actually
You put
buy
up
that card. I like
100
it.
postcards, they're going to sit for a while.
So Stephanie,
I did like 300. This is all the postcards I ever had. Now it paid for the scanner. I bought used off of eBay for like 60, 70 bucks. That's why it's probably not that good.
so this is a 2-car garage, Steph, and
right.
I have
They
three
sat forever.
storage units.
Yeah. There's over 10 million postcards on eBay right now.
Yeah.
What's the chance of this card being out there 10, 20 times? I'm not going to go out and comp everything.
Well, a lot of these sports card sellers, same way. They're listing everything because it's cheap, and you can make a little bit of money even at $2 a card.
You have to sell your reputation. I give free shipping, 60-day returns, hassle free. You're fully covered all the way to the house. I don't care. You got a problem with the issue? You didn't get it, whatever. You got to go and be above everybody else.
How many returns do you get on postcards, though?
This year, maybe a half dozen or less.
Do you even take it back? I mean, obviously, a
I
more
don't.
expensive card you're going to want back.
Yeah, a Halloween card and stuff, I'll take them back. I had that one issue with that scammer, but I don't count that. It's a one-off. But if it's a $4 card, they didn't get it. It's been 12 days or so. I got the message. I know I can put insurance in. I tell them, here's your money. If it does show up, just go ahead and keep it. Don't send it back. I don't even know how they would send it back. Would it be ground advantaged? Do they print out another eBay standard envelope for them?
I'm sure it's ground advantage coming back. It's got to be.
No one's been able to tell me that yet because no one's ever takes a $4, $5 postcard back.
Well, send me one and I'll send it back to you. No,
yeah, put a
let's
return
not
in.
do that.
The biggest problem I have is when I sell photos. They're in the military category, even though photos fall under eBay standard envelope in some categories. The boat photos, I got thousands of them, sell better in military. I sell so many of those. It's 95% metric for top rated. I'm usually about 96, 97 by the time I get reevaluated every time. And sending those the $120 worth of cards to Australia without tracking is going to cost me too. So some months I'll be above standard, and then they'll give me a grace period. I'll go above standard, then I'll be top rated again. It doesn't matter. I sell them both ways.
I'm above standard, and I have been for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't dwell on a lot of that stuff. I just know I got a lot of cards. They're going to sit there. I have consistent sales coming in every month, and now I used all the money to buy drones.
So this refurbished one's $284.99, but it's from Epson. So I would trust them more than I would trust a pre-owned anything on eBay.
Yeah, when you're one of the biggest things when I go to buy stuff, like when I built the computer here, I could have bought it from some eBay sellers, but all their crap in their descriptions, I didn't know if I'd get a return, bad stuff. I went to Amazon and a few other places to buy stuff because I felt better that they had a return policy. Their stuff was okay. That meant more to me than the price.
What I'll probably end up doing is buying this one, and then that one still goes for $60 or $70 on eBay, the old one. But now I'll say what the problem is. It was leaving lines on my sports cards, and I don't want it. And
so which standard do you recommend for postcards? Do you recommend the 580?
580W.
This also has a 1-year limited warranty because it's coming from Epson.
There's a couple things I like about it, Scott. I did a whole video on it. The hopper doesn't have the little guide, so you can just put a ton of postcards or cards in there. It has an LCD screen, and it's wireless or USB B to A. And
I've got 2 older scanners, but they're still worth stupid money. So I've got two of the IX 500s.
I don't know those. Yeah,
I believe they're Fujitsu's.
Yeah, I have a 400, and then I have a 580. I have the 60, and I have a Fujitsu ScanSnap. The Epson Also with
Yeah.
the Epsons, you can put a border around it.
Yeah, the IX 500 is a scan snap.
Oh, yeah, those are the. It was fine. I like those. I like the interface it had. It had a little bit more control, but I couldn't put a border around the edges to show a background for the edges of the card. And so when that wheels and stuff started going out in that one, I got the 400, and then the 580 came out, and I bought it to do a video. I got it for like $300 on a sale. 300 something.
I'm checking my bank
All
account
right,
to
so
make sure.
I guess I'm gonna. That's what I'll do. I want to start looking at some of that. So I've got 2 of the IX 500s. I guess I'll sell them both and use that money to buy.
Yeah, my
pulling the
50
trigger.
is a IX 1500.
I'm pulling the trigger. I'm pulling the trigger on this, and there's a reason why I'm doing it today. In Ohio, it's tax free till tomorrow. Everything's tax free, even if you buy it on the internet. So I'm paying exactly what they're asking for it, no more, no tax on in Ohio.
So
What is this?
So if you're buying anything in Ohio under $500 this week, it's tax
this
free.
is why I'm running out of storage space. This is my auction pickup Saturday or 2 days ago.
If you live anywhere close to Ohio and you need to buy anything today and tomorrow under $500,
Let me
tax-free.
hit the play.
Not liquor. Hot food is even tax free. The restaurant food is even tax free it's been a week. Tomorrow's the last day.
My biggest expense this year in the postcard store, probably first quarter next year, I'm gonna have to start buying some more inventory because I've been selling lots in the Ko-Fi store, 100 postcards, lots and stuff, and listing some. That's going to be my big expense is build my backs up, but I don't want it as big as it was because once I hit 60,000 cards, I'm not going to another store. I'm staying 55 to 60,000. I'm not going to try to be the biggest.
So would it be better off to have 2 stores that size, or would you be better off all your postcards in one store?
One store because I have SM postcards pointed right to it, and everything goes there. But I don't want to be that big. I don't have the shelf space anymore. I don't want to add, I could have shelves in the fish room, and I'm happy with what I got, what I make. And I want to focus since I know what I can do it blindfolded pretty much. I want to work on the drones, have fun, get out. So I'm basically part-time postcards now. And then just my other little things I'll work on. So
Yes, like I could use my LLC and do to sales tax free, but I don't generally buy things. I buy most of my inventory at yard sales, so it doesn't kind of work that way anymore.
Yeah. But if I know some sellers have went to 60,000 on the premium store is the limit for listings, and they went to an anchor store. But then you start adding more cost every month and stuff. Then you get to a point again where you have to sell so much every month to pay the bills. I like where I'm at. And could I do more bigger cards? Yeah. I could go to postcard shows and drive around, and it's like I got enough cards right now, and I have suppliers I can put them.
Postcard shows.
Oh yeah. I used to work with a lady who she liked local postcards, but she went to postcard shows as often as they had them. I mean, they used to have them a lot more now than they do now. And she'd buy. She probably has bought from you because if you have anything from the area she lives in, she doesn't have it, she's going to buy it, and so she doesn't care the price.
I'm 60 years old this month. When I go into a postcard show, I'm like a teenager.
Yeah, no, not me, but
there'd be a lot of Todds there.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. What benefits do you get from going from premium to anchor?
More listing. I think you get 10. I don't know what the limit is. I haven't even looked. I used to have an anchor store, and then eBay came out a couple of years ago, and I paid $300 a month for a postcard anchor store. So I had to sell $300 worth of postcards. More than that to pay the thing. Then they come out and said, hey, we're going to help you guys. we'll give you a premium store with 10,000 listings, and in certain categories, we'll give you 50,000 free listings. And postcards are one of those categories for $60. Every anchor store postcard seller out there made $240 that day by dropping down.
Mhm.
They didn't charge us to move down, and that's why I said,
Yeah, that's the problem. You only get 75,000 as an anchor, so you're going to be charged 3.5 times what you were paying for 25,000 listings for.
yeah. So you might as well get another premium for 60 and get another name and put more cards out there. It's what a lot of the bigger sellers have done. But
You could name your store SMP1, SMP2, SMP3. You could do something to keep them close.
yeah,
I'm just going to use my son's store. He's not using it, and it's a really old store with no limits, so I'll just use his.
yeah.
Just change the payment info on it.
One of the things I don't want to be, I got off all the other sites. I'm just eBay. I want to focus. I do better when I focus on one site, one store. If I have all these things I got to do, I don't do as well.
I showed everybody your refrigerator.
Oh, did you?
That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
we're talking about the blurred lines between electronics and what, between kitchen items. If you're trying to, how do you expand? If you're an electronics seller, how do you expand? Kitchen stuff is damn near electronics these days, and
Yeah.
John's going to do his live from his kitchen soon.
it doesn't have a camera.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Broadcasting live from my refrigerator. Yeah,
Hey,
that
Scott,
would be
after
great,
I saw
man.
his lives, I'm sure he has an extra camera around in that room somewhere to put on that refrigerator.
Not yet, but I need to get one.
You need to. That's what you
Refrigerator
need to
has
do.
a camera.
You need to hot glue that one that follows it around, and tell Jenna you put her on a diet, and then a camera follows around everything she eats. Then we'll come to your funeral.
The webcam I use, John, I was going to tell you, Elgato Face Cam. It's got a Sony thing in there.
No,
So a little expensive, but that's
I
what
got this thing right here.
Huh?
I got this thing right here, and it follows me,
I have
AI.
one too, but I don't use it.
and it drives me crazy. I got to find a way to shut this thing off because
This thing follows
you
you.
gotta
Yeah.
tell it to shut up and stop following you.
So my little gimbal here, I have a little unit that sticks on the side, and that's what makes it follow. And if I take that off, it doesn't follow anymore.
Oh, that's cool.
I haven't used it. I got this off of TikTok.
I have
$35.
one like that. I have the it's the DJI OSM 5, I think.
This is just a more generic one, but it works really good.
If you watch enough TikTok, there's some those you can find those cameras that follow you around really cheap.
Yeah, this one, because I opened a TikTok store, and that was an ordeal. That took weeks to figure out.
Well, this is the
And
one.
I'm not
I
even
have
using
right
it.
here. This is the one. It's the OBS bot.
Those are nice.
And,
Yeah, I've seen those too.
Yeah, this is
That
pretty
DJI
cool.
stuff
It's
is-
AI driven. It's really small too.
I got mine because for when I want to do whatnot again, I figured it would follow me if I needed to walk around. Instead, I hate shaky whatnots. I hate them. I hate people carrying their camera around and it's all shaky and you can't see what they're doing. So
Keep going. Keep going.
it works really well there, Todd.
I need a new screensaver. Keep going.
Did you take? You're awful shaky this morning. You take your medicine, Todd?
I was on Kent's live last night, so I apologize for being late. I was kept up late last night.
We're having an earthquake.
Can't then have a live. Can't play text.
No, that's his live. That's the only live he does is through text.
Yeah, I woke up to all those crazy sales. I ended up at 9:29, 9:30 yesterday.
Yeah, he was texting and I'm like, oh, I gotta go to get Scott off of here because I know he's asleep.
I put y'all on do not disturb. What are you talking about? I put the whole phone on do not disturb, and I'm like, me and Phoebe are taking a nap.
I got like 5 people that can ring through. That's it.
My wife puts me on Do Not Disturb every night. And when she goes to bed, nobody's getting through to her. Nobody.
Yeah, I've got there's like 5 or 6 I can get through. Other than that,
Yeah, we've been very busy. We have to get ready for the distractions are coming into town now. We're going to the airport tonight after ASD to pick up.
so that's what you're calling her sisters, the distractions.
Anyone that comes over that disrupts my flow is a distraction. Family, friends, you name it. You name it.
I know what you mean. I had brother-in-laws in town a couple of weeks ago. We didn't know if they're staying here, didn't know, and I'm sitting there, well, I want to do a video. I want to do this, or we got to go over there. It just throws everything off. It's nice to have them in town, but your routine.
Right. Because I'm now expected to be the chef. Because they don't have their car. They flew in. We're going to be the taxi driver. I'll let Jenna do that part. But it does kind of take you out of your game a little bit. And I don't mind taking a break for family and all that, but I'm driven. I'm focused. I want my routine.
We've been in empty
so we were talking earlier, and John, I know you believe this too. And somebody else chimed in that there's what summer slowdown listing to $1 amount has been amazing. It's an amazing change. It really.
Oh yeah.
It changes the way you see your business. It changes the way if you're not ready to ship a lot and ship the stuff you list, don't list to $1 amount. Just keep doing your 10 listings a day and feel like you're winning. Tell me, oh my God, I can't believe my sales are down. I listed my 10 today.
Yeah, but if I was to list 10 sports cards in a day, and they're low end stuff, I might make $2.
You could be at $30 or $40 and wonder why you're not moving the needle. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
to move my store up to the level it was, I was doing 50 a day average. Some days I did 20, some days I did 80. Now, since I'm getting close to 60, I had to cut back so I don't run over that. My average is like 20 a day. But I have them scheduled all the way out to August 23rd now. So I don't want to go over that 60. So I just kind of space them out. I'll sit down and do 100, but I'll space them out in 5 days.
But Steve, you're talking about no tax day. Folks, learn your tax situation. So y'all know Johnny can't walk. So she's been ordering all her Target stuff. And she's like, it's cheaper for me to order it. I'm like, I know because in the county, our tax rate is 5.5. If you go to the city, 9.5 or whatever it is, or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And so, or 5 to 9, or whatever it is. So we save half of the tax rate by having them bring it to us. So not only do you not have to go to Target and waste the gas, the time, they'll deliver it here.
Of course, you do leave them a nice hefty tip, correct?
It comes in. They don't do. We don't have DoorDash. It comes in a package.
Oh, that kind of delivery.
It comes UPS or whoever.
Hey, Steve, I'll deliver it to your house.
Okay.
Drone.
It's a long
Drone
delivery. Yeah, it's a long ass. I hope you got some good batteries in it.
Stop at those chargers. They're doing that now. Do you think that's going to be a thing where they're going to allow these things to fly over these houses with these big boxes and drop them?
They are doing it, but
in certain places.
Some Walmarts are doing it already, but it can only be up to a certain weight. I forget what the weight is, 25 pounds. And
yeah,
I would assume the distances are within 2 miles of the store or less.
There's a new one got a approved zip line area in Seattle, I think.
Yeah, I've heard about them.
You know what I want to do, Scott?
I'm not worried for my job, if you're wondering.
With the drones, you ever seen those drone shows where they have those, instead of fireworks, they had the drones up in the sky?
Yeah, I've seen
pictures. I want to work on one of those teams. I'll do it for free. I just want to be there. I'll run around and turn them all on or whatever you want me to do. I just want to.
The last one I saw, I was watching the last season of Skinwalker Ranch, and they were testing out something of that, and some of the drones are going crazy, and they're getting control.
Skinwalker Ranch. There's a bunch of. Never mind.
But yeah, I would. That's what I want to do is find a company. I'll be an intern. I'll pay to go there and work that one job in Chicago to put that up in the sky. I would love to see the computers and just how they do it. That's my entertainment.
You could do the next Trump rally.
Yeah. I mean, anything.
The sad part, no, I won't even go into it. This is not a political show. Never mind.
Yeah.
Anything that for Friday night. All the political stuff.
I might come, if we're going to talk about the assassination attempt, I'll be there Friday night.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about. There is no limits to what we talk about on Friday night. I'm very upset with the whole ordeal. And I don't even care. It could have been
Harris out there. I don't care. I'm
I
upset.
don't want her shot either.
No.
It's insane. But folks, we are 15 minutes left. Any questions y'all have for us? If it gets too quiet, we'll have John go in there. We'll watch the video on his TV on his refrigerator.
You know, I sent you a little clip too I think I sent you a clip. Maybe I didn't. Picked up a pallet yesterday, and you know, you're always hoping for the best with pallets. When you're, especially when it's manifested, you have a couple items and maybe one really big ticket item in there, and you're in your back of your mind, you're expecting a swap out or someone send a brick back, and you know, with these Amazon returns. And I had the MSRP, I think it's a 1400 MSRP receiver, stereo receiver. And it had the box, you know, it's at the bottom of the pallet. So got it home, cracked it open last night, and the thing was pristine. I was really, really happy about it. Thing will sell about $800 or $900 on eBay. It's like they bought it, set it up. I guess they either had sticker shock or just thought it wasn't for them. They sent it back, had all the manuals, the cables, everything. It was great.
I'm sure you test all that, right?
Oh yeah, test it. But you know, most of the time you end up with someone's old unit or something like that, right?
Sure.
So it's really a crapshoot. So to have your top item in there come back, and this is the way it used to be, and it got so bad to where the top items weren't either not there, were not functional. It kind of turned me off of liquidation, buying in the pallet form. And so getting back to it the last couple months, 2 to 3 months, it's really been kind of cool to get back to where it used to be. I mean, I'm not saying it's always that way. I'd say about 20% of the time, 25% of the time, you're going to get swap outs when you're opening these pallets, right? But lately it's been pretty good. And it's, you know, like Beard says, listing to a dollar amount, right? I've got so much stuff going on today. I've got to go pick up 2 more pallets today. We're going to ASD, and then we got to go pick up people at the airport tonight. I'm going to list 2 to 3 items. That's going to put me over $1,000, and you know what? That's fine.
Looks like your toilet stack is shrunk some, or you moved them one or the other.
Oh well, a little of both. Jenna kind of moved things around, but yeah, these are going away. I'm
Too bad
Finding my pallet pickup. Scott, let me present.
Too bad they flew in, or you could have given them a complimentary toilet seat to go home with.
Choice of color. And Todd will even throw in a toothbrush holder.
Uh-oh, what do we got?
Here we go. Getting it loaded.
Here we go.
I got a ceiling fan. I got this. I got that.
How much of that stuff made it home without falling out on the interstate?
That's one badass fork truck there.
Yeah.
That's a
You
good
did a
indoor
good job
outdoor.
loading.
You got it all
two
listed?
pallets in my truck.
You got it all listed?
Yep.
I used to be a fork truck driver, but I never got my certification. I just did it because somebody had to.
Now I'm assuming those are unmanifested pallets, right?
Did that make it home?
Yep.
That's how they do it in Texas.
Yep.
I think pallets, if you know,
Wrong one.
are a great idea. Uh-oh. What happened?
I hit the wrong one. All right, Glenn. See you, buddy. Yeah, Lag wanted to know if some of those toilet seats have built-in cameras, John.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Those
yet.
are separate that we have connected. Airbnb.
That'd be a thing for Jake.
I had to go over one time. There was a friend, they were getting a divorce, and the husband moved overseas, but he could tell when she was coming home, and my brother got me involved and to go over and look at their house to look for cameras. So I actually found one. I found the lens, and I found it hooked up down in the basement. And I said, I didn't pull the wire. I said, disconnect that. and he couldn't see anymore. He did have one hooked up in the house, and it was behind a little picture. And I did find
There's a device you can buy that detects them. You can get it on Temu.
Yeah, it's a light because it'll show off on the lens.
You can use your iPhone with the infrared too, because the lenses, they can't hide the lens, and it'll show up.
Oh yeah, if there's some sort of infrared coming out of it, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but he had one set up where it was in the garage where you could see who's coming in and out of the house. And so we disconnected it, and then he now does not have access.
And so this
My
is a
wife's got
husband or
cameras set up in
ex-husband?
here.
I've
Is this a
seen
You can.
Was it
There's
husband or
there's an
ex-husband?
app. It's an X and X now.
Yeah, I seen when I went over there, I had a sniffer on the Wi-Fi, and I could see there was a connection to something and pulling that type of data, but I couldn't find it, and it took me about an hour, but we finally found it.
There is a app you can get for your either iPhone or Android. It's called Alfred, where I can just have an old cell phone all the way down to iPhone 5, just sitting somewhere in my house, and it makes it into a security camera as long as it's plugged in, obviously. So I mean, in a case like that, it's just a camera sitting there or an old phone sitting there. You might not think, you know, but I can hook them up all over the house. I forget how many I can hook into it, but iPhone 4 wouldn't work. I tried.
No, it's probably got to be I would think a 6.
No, 5 and up. 5 and up works for that because I have a 5 here, and then any old Android seems to work.
Yeah, I have.
I have all these old crappy cell phones around. I thought, what can I do with them? So I started looking into it, and I saw a YouTube video that you can make them into security cameras. So why wouldn't you? And they even have motion detection as long as your phone has certain things.
I got 2 cameras in the front of the house, and I got the solar panel, so I don't have to pull the batteries. I just got to pull them out. One of them doesn't get a lot of sun in the winter, so when it's minus 10 degrees here, I might have to go out or I leave it off. My brother just bought a lake house about an hour and a half south of me in Indiana. He's retiring and his wife, and they're putting in a whole security system. And because they won't be down there all the time. He lives 20 minutes north of me. So we're going down there to get all that installed.
The reason I started looking is because I bought more of a generic ring type camera for the front door, and I'm not happy with it. It detects too much motion. You know, even on the lowest setting, I get a fly.
But then the camera on them things is terrible. The camera
like
on most
fishbowl.
of those,
The camera on mine's not bad. It's not bad at all, but it's useless for the most part unless somebody rings the bell and I can talk to them through it and shit like that. But so I figured, well, what's the alternative? I want to keep that camera for the doorbell purpose, but I want other cameras that'll actually catch the right motion. You know.
I have a little camera inside. It's just a cheap Chinese one. When I go on vacation to Florida every year, I put it in the living room to watch the bird that we, Sal, my parrot, and I can talk to him whenever I wanted to and stuff, but I can tell if he's got himself stuck in a cage and my father-in-law comes over or whatever. But otherwise, we just have 2. But I'll do aerial surveillance now. There is a thing with drones about security. They hire people to watch their back 40 or just fly around for security and stuff. That would be great.
so
I can
Steve, do
see.
you have
Yeah.
I was going to finish it. Do you have any process that you list your cards with? Have you come up with something?
Not yet because I would if that scanner worked properly.